26 of Barbary. So he gives a little prelude to it. One of the greatest medical romances of the Arabs tells us the exploits of the pre-Islamic warrior Antar. I got his name on the board for you. So here he has his excerpts from his poem. Let's see if I've got it all here. Praise me therefore for the things you know of me, for I am easy to get on with, provided I'm not wrong. But if I'm wrong, then wrong I do is harsh indeed. We don't have the love prelude here. He talks about his exploits in battle. It may also be mentioned how often I have drunk good wine in the noon sweltering calm from a bright-figured bowl and a glittered golden glass scored with lines partnered to a lustrous filtered flask on its left. And whenever I have drunk recklessly, I squander my substance, while when my honor is abounding, unimpaired, and whenever I have sobered up, I diminish not my bounty. And my qualities and my nobility being as you have known them. And many's a good wife's spouse I have left on the floor. How? My fist having beaten him to it with a hasty blow, and the spray of a deep thrust died like dragon's blood. I can advise you, daughter of Moloch, to ask the horseman if you should happen to be ignorant and uninformed, for never I'm out of the saddle of a strong swimmer, sturdy, assaulted again and again by the warriors, wounded, now detached for the lance, thrusting in anon, resorting to the great host with their tight bows. Those who were present at the engagement will acquaint you how I plunge into battle, but I abstain from the booty take. In other words, I'm first in battle and last to take booty. And many's the bristling knight the warriors have shunned to take on, one who was not in a hurry to flee or capitulate. My hands have been right generous to, with the hasty the thrust of a well-tempered, strong-jointed, straightened spear, giving him a broad double-sided gash, the hiss of which guides in the night season the prowling famished wolves. I split through his accoutrements with my solid lance, and even in the noblest is not sacrosanct to the spear, and left him carrion for the wild beast to pounce on, all of him, from the crown of his head to his limp wrists. And then we get this description of his horse in the middle of battle here. So, frankly, this poetry is better to me than most American poetry you read today. If American poetry write like this, even in modern English, we'd be impressed. And this is just a translation. When in the midst of battle dust I heard the cry of Mura. We remember Mura from that old bird's nest legend. Ascend shrill, and the two sons of Rabia and all Muhalim were striving beneath their banner, and death stalked beneath the sons of Muhalim were involved in this feud here. And there I knew for sure that when the issue was joined with them, such a blow would fall as to scare the bird from its snuggling chicks. There's the lark's nest image. When I beheld the people advancing in solid mass, urging each other on, I wheeled on them blamelessly. Antara, they were calling, and the lances were like well ropes sinking into the breast of my black steed. Continuously I charged them with his white blazoned face and his breast until his body was caparisoned in blood, and he twisted round in the spear's impact upon his breast and complained to me, sobbing and whimpering. Had he known the art of conversation, my horse that is, he would have protested, and had he been acquainted with speech, he would have spoken to me. The horse is frowning terribly, plunging in the crumbling soil, long-bodied mare along with short-haired, long-bodied stallion, and oh, my soul was cured, and its faint sickness was healed by the horseman's cry, ah, Antara, on with you. So we get battle poetry here. One last point I want to raise before next time. I'll tell you what we're going to do next time, because we've got to move along. We have a lot to cover, all these cultural subjects. Where was that page here I was doing out of Kritzik here? There was one more Nasif here in what we had in Kritzik. I thought I wanted to read it to you here. Well, we had it in that Labed poem. I guess that's where it was. There's a little bit here in the Ode of Tarafa here, where he speaks about the camp. So I guess we already did it in the Labed poem. Next time, what I want you to do is, this is very hard. I've collected this collection for you because it's less expensive than getting 3 different books. The material comes from 3 different books. I want to do what's called in Arabic thanks. understand what's called adab literature. Adab literature is the literature of what we would call prose. And it develops in Arabic again in the Abbasid period. We don't really have it. We have the Quran, we have Hadith, we have poetry, we don't have any prose literature. And that comes from the Persian too. The Persians coming into Islam under the Abbasid period. And the first is a translation from Persian, but the Persian translation originally was from an Indian work that was in Pahlavi. It was called The Fables of Bidpai. It was originally a work that came all the way from India. It went into Persian, and then when this was translated into Arabic in the Abbasid period, it became known as Khalil wa Dimna. And it's really a Walt Disney story. Khalil wa Dimna are two jackals. And they tell stories within stories within stories. Tales with morals, but they're really for entertainment at court. A court like a Persian king would have enjoyed, with courtiers and everything else, not a Muslim sheikh or something, or a Bedouin tribesman. A court like the Abbasid court in Baghdad. And these would be stories that would be told at court. And what they do is tell you how to be a good courtier, how to survive at court among very dangerous forces there in what would be the Abbasid Caliphate period. And also, they're not Islamic again. They're very anti-Islamic. And the person who translated these was a son of a Persian convert, Ibn al-Muqaffa. He was executed by al-Mansur, the first strong Abbasid caliph, for translating these stories into Arabic. This is how seriously they were taken. But this is the first prose work in Arabic, too. And again, I think it has an anti-Arab flair because it's anti-Islam flair, because there's nothing Islamic in this work at all. It's totally how to get ahead in the world. It's really a shopkeeper work. A mentality and a morality of shopkeepers that you will find if you go from Vienna to Saigon, or from Dubai all the way to Seoul, Korea. The mentality of how to get money in this world, how to get ahead, how to raise your kids, and